Greek Mythology Study, Part 1. Zeus. Grab a notebook, a pencil, sit down, and take notes. Zeus is the king of Greek gods, and is the god of skies, lightning, thunder, and justice. His parents are Cronus and Rhea. Zeus's first wife was named Midi, with who he had Athena, but his current wife is Hera, who is also his sister. I know it might seem a bit shocking, but in ancient Greece, they didn't really care. He is usually said to have fathered Ares, 𝒖🏜💏, and 𝒓𝒆𝒆. The consort was said to be Dione, by who the Iliad states that he fathered Aphrodite. Zeus was also infamous for his erotic escapades. These resulted in many divine and heroic offspring, including Apollo, Artemis, Hermes, Dionysus, Perseus, Heracles, Helen of Troy, Minos, and the Muses. Among his symbols are the thunderbolt and the eagle, in addition to his Indo-European inheritance, the classical cloud-gatherer, Greek 𝒖𝒏𝒕𝒊𝒍 𝒖𝒏𝒕𝒊𝒍 also derives certain iconographic traits from the cultures of the ancient Near East, such as the scepter. His siblings are Hestia, Hades, Hera, Poseidon, and Demeter. In Roman, his planet is Jupiter, and these were the main things you needed to know about Zeus. Yuri out. Greek Mythology Study, Part 2. Hera. Grab a notebook, a pencil, sit down, and take notes. Hera is the queen of gods, and the goddess of marriage, family, and women. She is the sister and wife of Zeus, and daughter of the Titans Cronus and Rhea. One of her defining characteristics in myth is her jealous and vengeful nature in dealing with any who offended her, especially Zeus's numerous adulterous lovers and illegitimate offspring. Her children are Angelos, Arge, Ares, 𝒕𝒅𝒏, 𝒖𝒏𝒕𝒊𝒍, 𝒖𝒏𝒕𝒊𝒍, and 𝒓𝒆𝒆. John Chadwick, a decipherer of Linear B, remarks her name may be connected with hero's hero, but that is no help, since it too is etymologically obscure. Her animals and symbols are cow, cuckoo, peacock, and pomegranate, scepter, crown polos, or diadem. Her siblings are Poseidon, Hades, Demeter, Hestia, and Zeus, who is also her spouse, and that's all the main things you needed to know about Hera. Yuri? A Greek Mythology Study, Part 3. Poseidon. Grab a notebook, a pencil, sit down, and take some notes. Poseidon is the god of the sea, oceans, and earthquakes. Poseidon maintained both associations among most Greeks. He was regarded as the Tamar, or father of horses, who, with a strike of his trident, created springs. The terms for horses and springs are related in the Greek language. His Roman equivalent is Neptune. His symbols are trident, fish, dolphin, horse, and bull. His siblings are Hades, Demeter, Hestia, Hera, and Zeus. The earliest attested occurrence of the name, written in Linear B, is Poseida or Poseidaou, which corresponds to Poseidon and Onu, Poseida. In Mycenaean Greek, Homeric Greek, he was the protector of seafarers and the guardian of many Hellenic cities and colonies. In pre-Olympian Bronze Age Greece, Poseidon was venerated as a chief deity at Pylos in Thebes, with the cult title Earthshaker. And these were the main things you needed to know about Poseidon. Yuri out. Greek Mythology Study, Part 4. Demeter. So grab a notebook, a pencil, sit down, and write some notes. Demeter is the goddess of harvest and agriculture. Her parents are Cronus and Rhea, and her siblings are Hestia, Hera, Hades, Poseidon, and Zeus. She had 9 children: Persephone, Despoina, Eubulus, Arion, Plutus, Philomelus, Iactis, Echaron, and Hecate. Although Demeter is mostly known as a grain goddess, she also appeared as a goddess of health, birth, and marriage, and had connections to the underworld. She is also called Diode. In Greek tradition, Demeter is the second child of the Titans, Rhea and Cronus. She was swallowed by her father as an infant and rescued by Zeus. Through Zeus, she became the mother of Persephone, a fertility goddess and resurrection deity. One of the most notable Homeric hymns, the Homeric Hymn to Demeter, tells the story of Persephone's abduction by Hades and Demeter's search for her.
That's all the main things you needed to know
about Demeter. Yuri out. Greek Mythology Study, Part 5. Ares. Grab a notebook, a pencil, sit down, and take some notes. Ares is the god of war and violence. His parents are Zeus and Hera, and his siblings are 𝒓𝒆𝒆, 𝒖𝒏𝒕𝒊𝒍, Hebe, and several paternal half-siblings. His Roman equivalent is Mars. He also had Aphrodite as a spouse, and few children: the Erotes, Eros, and Anteros, Phobos, Deimos, Plagueis, Harmonia, and Yad, Syraxoeno, Mousesaikunas, and the Amazons. His name in ancient Greek is Ar-Isse. He embodies the physical valor necessary for success in war, but can also personify sheer brutality and bloodlust, in contrast to his sister Athena, whose martial functions include military strategy and generalship. An association with Ares endows places, objects, and other deities with a savage, dangerous, or militarized quality. Although Ares' name shows his origins as Mycenaean, his reputation for savagery was thought by some to reflect his likely origins as a Thracian deity. Some cities in Greece and several in Asia Minor held annual festivals to bind and detain him as their protector. In parts of Asia Minor, he was an oracular deity. Still further away from Greece, the Scythians were said to ritually kill 1 in 100 prisoners of war as an offering to their equivalent of Ares. That's all the main things you needed to know about Ares. Yuri out. Greek mythology study, part 6. Athena, grab a notebook, a pencil, sit down, and write some notes. Athena is the goddess of wisdom, warfare, and handicraft. Her animals, symbols, and tree are owl, serpent, horse, aegis, helmet, spear, armor, gorgonian, chariot, distaff, and olive tree. Her parent Zeus alone, or mainly Zeus and Metis. She has an adopted child named Erythonius. Athena is associated with the city of Athens. The name of the city in ancient Greek is Sita, Mu, Aripha, Iota, Athenai, e plural, Tapanim, designating the place where, according to myth, she presided over the Athenai, a sisterhood devoted to her worship. That is a graver matter. And there, my friend, the modern interpreters of Homer may, I think, assist in explaining the view of the ancients. Most of these, in their explanations of the poet, assert that he meant, by Athena mind, nu omicron nu, esse, and intelligence by Amelia, and the maker of names appears to have had a singular notion about her, and indeed calls her by a still higher title, divine intelligence, Theon Esuessa, as though he would say, this is she, who has the mind of God, Atio Noah, perhaps. However, the name Theona may mean, she who knows divine things. Tausita, Ipsilon nu Omicron, Omicron Sigma, Alpha, Tateya no Uza, better than others, nor shall we be far wrong in supposing that the author of it wished to identify this goddess with moral intelligence. Anything? Noisin, and therefore gave her the name, which, however, either he or his successors have altered into what they thought a nicer form, and called her Athena, Plato, Cratylus, 407b, and that's all you needed to know about Athena. Yuri out! Greek mythology study, part 7. Apollo, grab a notebook, a pencil, sit down and write some notes. Apollo is the god of music, art, health, and sun. His planet, animals, symbols, and tree are sun and Mercury antiquity, raven, swan, wolf, lyre, laurel wreath, python, bow, and arrows, laurel, and cypress. He is also known in Italy by a poem, tongue, twister, and it's something like this.
Apelle, figlio di Apollo, fece una palla di pelle di pollo. Tutti i pesci vennero a galla per vedere la palla di pelle di pollo fatta da Apelle, figlio di Apollo.
Son of Apollo, made a ball out of chicken skin. All the fish came to the surface to see the ball of chicken skin made by Apelle, son of Apollo. I know it isn't really about Apollo. But anyways, his parents are Zeus and Leto, and his siblings are Artemis, his twin, and many paternal half-siblings. And that's all you needed to know about Apollo. Yuri out. Greek mythology study, part 8. Artemis, grab a notebook, a pencil, sit down and write some notes. Artemis is the goddess of hunting, the wilderness, wild animals, transitions, nature, vegetation, childbirth, care of children, and chastity. Her parents are Zeus and Leto, and she is Apollo's twin sister. Her planet, animals, and symbols are the moon, deer, dog, boar, bear, bow, and arrows. Crescento mundo, animal pelts, knives, torch, lyre, amaranth. In myth and literature, Artemis is presented as a hunting goddess of the woods, surrounded by her chaste band of nymphs. In the myth of Actaeon, when the young hunter sees her bathing naked, he is transformed into a deer by the angered goddess and is then devoured by his own hunting dogs, who do not recognize their master. The etymology of the name Artemis remains uncertain, though various origins have been proposed. 𝒕𝒐𝒃 suggested the EI interchange indicates a pre-Greek origin, a view supported by the Lydian variant Artemis 213 to 214, and by Georgios Babin, who notes the names Mycenaean, attestation, and possible pre-Greek roots. And that's all you needed to know about Artemis. Yuri out. Greek mythology study, part 9. Hephaestus, grab a notebook, a pencil, sit down, and take some notes. Hephaestus is the god of artisans, blacksmiths, carpenters, craftsmen, fire, metallurgy, metalwork, sculpture, and volcanoes. His parents are Zeus and Hera, and he was married to Aphrodite, but they divorced, and his siblings are Ares, Hebe, and Aletheia. Instead, he married Charis, Aglaia, and had 3 children, Thalia, Erycthonius, and Caberi. He was cast off Mount Olympus by his mother Hera because of his lameness, the result of a congenital impairment, or in another account, by Zeus for protecting Hera from his advances, in which case his lameness would have been the result of his fall rather than the reason for it. And that's all the main things you needed to know about Hephaestus.
Yuri out.
Greek mythology study, part 10. Aphrodite. Grab a notebook, a pencil, sit down, and take some notes. Aphrodite is the goddess of beauty, love, lust, pleasure, passion, and procreation. Her parents are Zeus and Dione, and her planet, animals, symbols, and tree are Venus, dolphin, sparrow, dove, swan, hare, goose, bee, fish, butterfly, rose, seashell, pearl, mirror, girdle, anemone, 𝒕𝒐𝒏, 𝒖𝒏𝒕𝒊𝒍, myrtle, apple, and pomegranate tree. She had a few children: Eros, Phobos, Deimos, Harmonia, Potos, Anteros, Himeros, Hermaphrodites, Rhodos, Eryx, Pytho, Tigreses, Beroe, Golgos, Priapus, Aeneas. Her spouse is Ares, and she divorced Hephaestus. In Greek mythology, Aphrodite was married to Hephaestus, the god of fire, blacksmiths, and metal. Aphrodite was frequently unfaithful to him and had many lovers in the Odyssey. She is caught in the act of adultery with Ares, the god of war. In the first Homeric hymn to Aphrodite, she seduces the mortal shepherd. Anchises, after Zeus made her fall in love with him. Aphrodite was also the surrogate, mother, and lover of the mortal shepherd Adonis, who was killed by a wild boar. Along with Athena and Hera, Aphrodite was one of the three goddesses whose feud resulted in the beginning of the Trojan War, and plays a major role throughout the Iliad. Aphrodite has been featured in Western art as a symbol of female beauty and has appeared in numerous works of Western literature. She is a major deity in modern neo-pagan religions, including the Church of Aphrodite, Wicca, and Hellenism. And that's all you needed to know about Aphrodite.
Yuri out. Greek Mythology Study, Part 11, Hermes.
Grab a notebook, a pencil, sit down, and write some notes. Hermes is the god of messenger, travelers, thieves, merchants, and orators.
His parents are Zeus and Maia. He had a few children: Evander, Pan, Hermaphroditus, Abdoris, Autolycus, Eudoros, Angelia, Myrtilis, Palestra, Ethalides, Arabius, Astacus, Bunos, Cephalus, Sidon, Pharis, Polybus, Prilus, Seon, and Syrinx. His day of the week is Wednesday, his planet is Mercury, and his symbols and animals are Teleria, Caduceus, Tortoise, Lyre, Rooster, and Pegasus winged helmet. His birthday is on every 4th of the month: January 4th, February 4th, March 4th, ECT. Angela 1997 thinks Hermes to be based on the Thoth archetype, the absorbing combining of the attributes of Hermes to Thoth developed after the time of Homer amongst Greeks and Romans. Herodotus was the first to identify the Greek god with the Egyptian Hermopolis. Plutarch and Diodorus also did so, although Plato thought the gods were dissimilar. Friedlander, 1992. He could travel between the mortal world and the divine realm faster than you could say priority shipping. And that's all the main things you needed to know about Hermes. Yuri out. Greek Mythology Study, Part 12, Dionysus. So grab a notebook, a pencil, sit down and write some notes, because my friend, this is the last part of the Greek gods study. Thank you for staying that far. I might do more Greek mythology studies in the future. Let's get back to the subject. Dionysus is the god of winemaking, orchards and fruit, vegetation, fertility, festivity, insanity, ritual madness, religious ecstasy, and theater. His parents are Zeus and Semele. His animals and symbols are bull, panther, tiger or lion, goat, snake, leopard, fox, thyrsus, grapevine, ivy, theatrical masks, phallus, and fox fur robes. His spouse is Ariadne. Romans identified Bacchus Dionysus with their own Liber Pater, the free father of the Liberalia festival, patron of viniculture, wine, and male fertility, and guardian of the traditions, rituals, and freedoms attached to coming of age and citizenship. And that's all you needed to know about Dionysus. Yuri out!